Our digital story covers the Rwanda women's movement. This movement began following the Rwanda genocide and still continues today. The main goals of the movement are to uplift women, provide equality, and increase political participation. To understand the women's movement, we must first understand the history of the Rwanda genocide. Rwanda had a history of political unrest and ethnic tension prior to the genocide. The two ethnic groups that inhabited Rwanda were the Hutus and the Tutsis. Political power shifted between the two groups, which created social divide and caused hostility to grow. In 1962, Rwanda gained their independence from Belgium. A republic was established and the Hutus gained power. During this time, Hutus abused their power and were hateful and violent towards the Tutsis. As a result, many Tutsi fled to neighboring countries, including Uganda. There, a rebel group of Rwandan refugees and Uganda sympathizers formed a group known as the Rwandan Patriotic Front, or the RPF. The RPF invaded Rwanda, targeting Hutu government officials. This only increased ethnic divide and caused more killings. The current leader attempted to stop this violence, which only angered Hutu extremists. Following this, the leader's plane was shot down, leading to his death, and chaos ensued. With the death of their leader, no one knew what to do, and the Hutu extremists took control, calling for the killings of the Tutsi minority. This moment, in 1979, is identified in history as the beginning of the 100-Day Genocide. During the genocide, 800,000 to 1 million Tutsis were killed. 100,000 Hutus were killed, and 2 million Hutus fled to neighboring countries as refugees. The RPF were the ones that eventually ended the genocide and put into place a new government, which consisted of a Hutu president, a Tutsi vice president, and outlawed ethnic identification. After the genocide happened, Rwanda was left with a population that was 70% women. These women were left to rebuild the country and had to take on roles that were traditionally inhabited by males. Women found themselves in the position of breadwinner for the first time, since a majority of the men had been killed off in the genocide. They took on everything from ordinary jobs to local government positions. Due to their experience at a community level, they were eventually elected to regional and national levels, even edging out other men for those positions. With their newfound government influence, they were able to direct more money towards family and other departments that lifted up women. They were also able to pass legislation that ensured women would have a voice in the government for the years to come. Some of the legislation included the requirement of 30% of parliamentary seats to be filled by women, a strong support of girls' education, and assurance that women would be given the opportunity to fulfill leadership roles. Part 8. A prominent figure in this moment was Aloysia Inumba. She was a member of the RPF, held many positions in the Rwandan government, and was an international activist and supporter of women. She was born in Rwanda in 1964 to Tutsi parents. Her father was involved in the government and was eventually killed because of his ethnicity. Following this, Aloysia and her family sought refuge in Uganda, where she attended school and college. She studied social work and social administration, which would help in her future roles in government. In 1986, she joined the RPF and eventually became a prominent leader within the organization. As finance commissioner, she raised money for the group, supported Rwandan refugees, and built secondary schools for women. After the genocide, she was appointed Minister for Gender and Family Promotion. In this position, she was able to advocate for women's rights, promote families, support women in local government, and provide girls with education. Later on, she became the Executive Secretary of the National Unity and Reconciliation Commission, a senator in Rwanda's parliament, and held the position of governor in Kigali, a province. She eventually returned to her position as Minister for Gender and Family Promotion and was a member of the African Women Advisory Committee and on the advisory board of Women for Women International. Sadly, she passed away from throat cancer in 2012. During her lifetime, she was world-renowned for her work with women's rights and the support of her country. Currently, Rwanda is one of the most stable countries in Africa and has the largest percentage of women in legislature in the world, at 64%. Life expectancy has risen by 10 years since the genocide, and death for children under 5 has been halved. All children are required to go to primary school and secondary school equally. Women have property rights and hold leadership positions in all sectors of the nation. Although vast improvements have been made, there are still issues surrounding gender. Due to cultural beliefs, Rwanda has one of the highest rates of gender-based and domestic violence in Africa. While women have equal opportunity in regional and national government, they still face challenges in local government and in their own homes. Rwanda has very deeply rooted beliefs about gender roles, regardless of legislation that has been passed. Feminism is still a dirty word and a Western ideal. The Rwandan women's movement has made significant changes for the lives of women, but like any country, they still have a long way to go.